Well, hello and welcome. This is Anna Kidney from Bergeon. So in this Facebook Live, I'm going to be sharing exactly the common energetic blocks to health and food. I find in my practice, one of the common challenges people have is how to lose weight or how to keep the weight off, or even their own relationship with their body. They could be very critical and judgmental of their body. And therefore, this is why I decided to do this clearing tonight. I'm at the moment in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. I've just been on a mastermind with my coach, and I'm so inspired. I'm full of new wisdom, you're going to get some very high level energy from me tonight. So welcome for joining, guys. Welcome. I can see Joanna. Hi, Joanna. Cinnamon. Hello. Okay. Oh, Sumi again. You're back. Hello, my lovely. Mathilda. Faisma, thank you, guys. Okay, so it's going to be a very kind of practical live tonight. So I want you to make sure you've had some water as well, because I'm going to get you guys to muscle test yourself. I'm going to explain what muscle testing is and how you can start to muscle test some of your beliefs in regards to food and emotions. It's in fact a huge topic, a huge area, and so this is why I'm actually planning to do a series of Facebook Lives over the coming days. So I'll give you more about that later. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so one of the common, I guess, the emotional blocks that people tend to have in regards to their body and wellness and things like that is really stored and blocked emotions that are held in their digestive system. So digestion begins in the mouth when we start to chew our food, and enzymes are released to start to break down the food, okay, where we obviously tasting our food. Then it goes down the esophagus and into our stomach. In our stomach is where the breakdown of food begins. So hydrochloric acid inside your stomach is starting to churn and break down the food. So no absorption is actually happening in your stomach. Then it works its way down into your intestines, and that's where absorption of food is happening. Okay, the intestines are a lot larger than most people think. It actually begins at kind of like at the top of your diaphragm and goes pretty much all the way down. So your digestive, your intestines or your gut is actually a huge organ, large intestine and small intestine. That's where absorption of your nutrients is happening. And then finally it moves down through the anus. So that's kind of like the breakdown of how food is coming into our body. But here's the thing, a lot of people are not absorbing the nutrients from their food for a couple of reasons. One is, the most common is that the intestinal tract is congested, and that could be due to diet. So for example, things like overconsumption of sugar, okay, processed and refined sugar, overconsumption of refined and saturated fats. There's so much misinformation out there on diets. Like, I'm just appalled at the things that are being told on the internet. You know, I understand that we're wanting to obviously, increase, I guess, fats in our diet, but we want good fats, not bad fats. Okay, so there's a lot of people giving health advice who are not really qualified to give that advice. A lot of dangerous information is being put out there over the internet, on social media, and on blogs and things like that. So if you have an acute condition, my advice is to actually go see a naturopath or a nutritionist who's qualified to give you the right advice in regards to your diet, because not one size fits all. I had a client who was trying out different diets, and he came to me physically not able to put on weight. He was very, very thin. He was having acid breaking down his teeth. He was having these wounds around his waist, and it was due to a diet which he saw on the internet, which was a fruitarian diet, which means no vegetables, no meat, fish, just fruit. Now, like, you can't really live on fruit alone. So it was causing too much fruit. It could cause the acid to break down on the teeth, okay? And you're going to end up with nutritional deficiencies, okay? So we talk about sort of a varied diet. So that was causing health concerns for him. Also, things like people on raw food diets. Now, I'm not anti-raw food diets. There's a lot of science behind the benefits of raw food, but unfortunately not every blood type is suitable for a raw food diet. So you may eat a portion of your food raw, say for example 70 to 75%, and then the rest cooked or heated. So in my constitution, my blood type, my Ayurvedic my Ayurvedic profile, I need a certain portion of my food actually cooked. I wouldn't be able to survive on a complete raw food diet. So this is where if you've got acute disease or conditions, we're not qualified to give you medical advice. You would go see a naturopath or a nutritionist to get the right advice for your body type, to start to begin to eat foods that are suitable for your body type. So Obviously, the first block in terms of digestive system is poor absorption due to one, saturated fats and things like that, dairy and what have you. And the second, and what most people aren't aware of, is the energetic blocks, the emotional blocks. So I'm going to start to cover those now in depth. So we are a spiritual being living in a physical body. And through our journey, we have these experiences. And through our experiences, we can take on beliefs that may not necessarily serve us. So let me give you an example. So I was raised in communist Poland back in the mid-70s. And so food was scarce. There was rationing for, meat and butter and things like that. Things were really difficult. So in my family, there was a belief that you had to eat everything off your plate. You had to clean your plate clean. So I'd love to hear who was told that as a child, that you had to eat everything on your plate. I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments. And also, what was your conversation at the dinner table with your parents? What did your parents say when it was dinner time? So was there a lot of conflict? Hi, Kelly. Miss you too, my lovely. Miss you too. Okay, so Fasim is saying, totally agree, raw is not for everybody. Yeah, like you guys, I'm not anti-raw food diet. I'm not anti, but it may not be suitable for everybody. I had a student in class, and by 2 o'clock, he was just dozing off. He just couldn't sustain the energy. Okay. Okay, Kelly, you maybe have to do with your internet connection, my lovely. Okay, so yeah, Joanna saying yes, she had that as well. Cinnamon saying yes as well. Mandalina, yes. Xenia, yes. Okay, good. So you're resonating. Yeah, so this is something we were told. So for me, I found it really difficult that I was feeling full, but I just felt compelled to eat everything on my plate. So actually, we're consuming far more food than we need. I'm in the US, and with the US, it's bigger is better. So the serving sizes generally tend to be big. The plates tend to be much bigger. The serving sizes tend to be bigger. I remember seeing when I was many years ago, when I was visiting New York, and we went to this sushi restaurant. It was called Monster Sushi, and literally the sushi rolls were huge. Everything was just oversized. And so as a human race, my belief is that we're consuming far too much food. The serving sizes are just too big. So what I do is, this is a really useful tip, is you get a smaller plate. The moment you get a smaller plate, so one of those entree or starter plates, and you eat your food off there instead of the bigger plate. So when you eat a food off a smaller plate, psychologically, you think, okay, I'm going to put this food on this plate, and if I eat it, I'm going to feel full because it's a full plate, even though it's a smaller plate. I know it sounds ridiculous, but actually works. The moment you have a smaller plate and you put your food on that plate, you can physically put less food on there, which means you're not consuming as much food, okay? And you will actually feel full. You will feel full. It's like a psychological trick. So yeah, certainly reducing food. Another belief, so like bread is for the poor. So who had that one? Things like that you deserve a treat, and treats tend to be, cakes and sweets and things like that. So I worked really hard. I deserve to treat myself. And then treats are always, so let me give you an example. The example is when kids treat their kids to McDonald's. Okay, I'm going to name some brands here. So I stopped eating McDonald's many, many years ago. I'd say 30 years ago. It's what I call a food-like substance. It looks like food. It smells like food. I don't think it's really food, in all honesty. So a lot of the mainstream fast food outlets, it's so processed and the animals are so traumatized. I just refuse to eat that kind of food. Where parents would take their kids to McDonald's as a treat. So are you using food as a treat because actually food is nourishment. Okay, food is nourishment. So how are you nourishing yourself, and how are you rewarding yourself for maybe, exercising or good effort at work? Are you using food to treat yourself, and that treat is a bar of chocolate or cake and things like that? So it's unpicking that mindset where you stop using these sugary foods, these processed foods as your treat. So for me, treats, so I love bounce balls. I'm not getting paid to say this, but the energy bounce balls, that's like my addiction. So I love those. They're like energy balls. There's a few companies that make them. They're my favorites, the bounce balls. The cocoa mint, that's like one of my favorites. So that's kind of like my treat. I will, treat myself to, going to Whole Foods and stocking up on all those beautiful big bottles of juices. So after this, I'm off to Whole Foods. I've got to stock up on some supplements to bring back home with me. And So it's a big bottle of smoothie juice. That's how I treat myself. So I use nourishing, living food to treat myself. Okay. Another one. So we talked about kind of how food was treated at the dinner table. So let me give you an example. So I had a client came to me and she was having thyroid problems, issues with weight gain, and a lot of food intolerances. And what had happened was that as a kid growing up, there would be a lot of arguments at the dinner table. There'd be a lot of shouting. And when, she'd be eating this food, and there was a shouting going on. She's in fear, she's in anxiety, she's in worry. And I think at one point her father snapped. He moved her plate away from her. He kicked her chair and her chair fell backwards. She landed on the floor and hit her head. And in that moment, her inner child leapt out of her body in absolute fear. And so she created a subconscious anchor that food is dangerous. So sometimes the subconscious makes these incorrect anchors between two completely unrelated things. In the moment she was consuming food, she was in physical danger because her father was quite abusive and violent, and it made a link that food is dangerous. So she started to develop anorexia and bulimia, and then she was able to recover from that. And by the time she came to me, she had developed a lot of food intolerances because there was this belief of food is dangerous. So we had to heal her childhood trauma of being in physical danger because her father was aggressive, and release this trauma of where the inner child jumped out to reintegrate the inner child so she could make peace with her body and with food. So, what were the conversations at your dinner table with your parents as a kid? Were your parents arguing about money? Okay, so you may have an incorrect anchor between kind of food and money and poverty. Was there things like, oh, don't eat too much because you're going to get fat. So while you're eating food, you'll be made to feel guilty for eating food. So there's a good belief that food makes me fat. Okay, so I'm going to get you guys to muscle test some of this. So some people are not theta healers. So I'm just going to quickly explain what muscle testing is. A very powerful tool in theta healing. It's a technique where we can identify limiting beliefs in our subconscious mind, and then we can change them. If you kind of imagine the metaphor of the iceberg, and the iceberg is on top of the water, but then you see so much more of the iceberg underneath, right? This is what we're talking about when it's subconscious. Many of our beliefs are held in the subconscious. So you may be running these subconscious beliefs about food, about nurturing, about your body that you're completely unaware of. So we're going to test those now. So one of the fastest and easiest ways to muscle test is the standing method. And everybody can do it. You just need to make sure you're hydrated. So if you've got a glass of water, grab a glass of water. Okay, let's do that now. Okay, so here's how it works. I'm going to stand up. So basically stand up with your feet hip width apart. I'm just going to stand to the side so you can see what's happening. Feet hip width apart. And you're just going to soften your knees slightly. So not rigid, soften your knees slightly. And you're going to say, yes, yes, yes. And what will happen is your body will slightly tip forwards. Then you'll go back to center. No, no, no. Okay, good. Okay, so then we know muscle testing is working correctly. So let's try another one. I love myself. Okay, that's a yes. Okay, let's try another one. I'm a man. Okay, good. All right, so obviously if you're a man watching this, then you would have gone forwards. So that's how we know our muscle testing is working correctly. If it's not working for you, it's more than likely you're dehydrated. So get your glass of water, make sure you're hydrated before we begin this. Okay, so you're gonna remain standing for this exercise. Okay, and you're gonna make the statement out loud. So as you're standing, eyes closed, okay, it doesn't matter which direction you face, feet hip width apart, just softening your knees, like not bending, but softening your knees, and make the statement, yes, yes, yes. And just relax, and your body will slightly tip forwards. And now say, no, no, no. And your body should slightly tip backwards. Okay, so let's make another statement. I'm a woman. Remember, you're going to say that out loud. And then obviously if you're a woman, you go forwards. And if you're a man, you'll go backwards. Okay, now make the statement, I'm a man. And obviously if you're a woman, you're going to go backwards for that one. If you're a man, go forwards. So if that's working for you, then you know your diagnostic tool is working correctly. Okay, so let's now get into some of these beliefs. So let's muscle test. I punish myself with food. Okay, did you go forwards or backwards on that one? Okay, let's muscle test. Treats are sweets. Okay, I feel like quite a few have had one. Let's check. Let's check. I love myself. Okay, and just make a mental note whether you go forwards or backwards. I'm going to start to clear these in a minute. Let's check. Let's muscle test. I'll always be fat. Okay. Did you go forwards or backwards? Okay, check this one. Food makes me fat. Okay, let's check this one. It's hard to lose weight. Okay, make a mental note. Okay, let's see. Let's check. I must deny myself to lose weight. Okay, so anyway that you're feeling that like detoxes or going on diets is like a deprivation. I try this one. So I must deprive myself to lose weight. Okay, good. All right, guys. Okay, so you don't have to post the yeses and nos on those ones. We're going to start to clear those. Just looking at the comments here. Right, I'm loving the interaction here, guys. This is awesome. I'm really enjoying the participation. Okay, good. Okay, so I'll give you an example of a situation that happened to me as a child. So when I was very, very little, my mother was still at university, and so I was in the care of my grandmother. And I don't know what your grandmother was like, but obviously my grandmother was raised during, the war as a child. So she had some fears around like scarcity of food running out, and really, if food was there, she would eat a lot of food. She would like get like quite overweight as a way to kind of hoard. So anywhere that this is what you may have is a belief around holding on to fat or weight as a hoarding energy, because in your DNA on an ancestral level, a belief like you have to hoard fat in case the starvation comes. So it's inside your DNA, a trauma of war when food was running out and there was rationing, and so your body's intuitively holding onto fat as a way to like a storehouse should a starvation occur later. Okay, so we're going to clear some of that as well. So if you've got like any war trauma and starvation trauma, we're going to release that as well. I know a lot of like English and Irish people run these programs of starvation and war trauma, things like the potato famine that occurred. We're going to clear some of that as well. So when my grandmother was taking care of me as a baby, and I physically remember this, she used to feed me and I'd be full. I'm like, no more. And she would just keep feeding me until I was absolutely stuffed. And what I would do is I would be eating, but I would refuse to swallow. So I'd keep this food in this cheek, like this basically. So that created some trauma between my relationship with and how I nurture myself, like this overindulgence of like stuffing myself until I'm absolutely bursting, no more room. But my grandmother was loving me. She wanted me to fatten up because there's a belief that babies and small children aren't healthy unless they're fat. Okay, and so consequently you do see a lot of young kids now quite obese because of this belief that you're not healthy unless you're fat. So back in the old days, it was the rich and wealthy were the fat people and the poor were the skinny people. Now it's the other way around, right? The people who tend to be quite overweight, they're poor, they're eating those refined processed foods, which unfortunately tend to be quite cheap. They tend to be quite cheap. They may be going to, I'm not going to name the supermarket, but supermarkets that stock a lot of frozen refined foods. Okay, and all of those things are contaminated, full of chemicals and fillers and preservatives that can actually cause the toxins in the body as a result of these chemicals, the body sees that doesn't know how to release those chemicals from those foods. And what it does, it uses fat to wrap them and bind them, and that's how you end up with obesity. Is that the body doesn't know how to release these toxins from and the chemicals in food with all the E numbers and sweeteners and things like that. So it wraps it in fat to protect the cell. So if you have fat on your body, they're just recognize there may be toxins inside those bodies. So like going on like a really like radical like weight loss diet may be quite hard on your system, because it's going to release all those toxins into your bloodstream that can make you feel unwell. So this is why I recommend like releasing weight more slowly rather than these like 30-day beach bikini like diets. It can be quite intense on the body. So very important that, you know, if you have been eating years and years of processed foods, just know that you may be carrying toxins and they need to be released at a slow pace. And I'm going to talk more about detoxing in the next Facebook Live, which will be tomorrow. Okay, guys, so I'm going to do a energy clearing now. So I'm going to just tune in. So the process I use is theta healing. It's an energy healing technique based on a spiritual process where I connect to the divine energy, the creator, universal intelligence, and I tune into everyone that's obviously listening to this live, but also anyone that's listening to the recording. So if you are listening to the recording, welcome. And I'm going to do a clearing for everyone tuning in on these beliefs. So the first thing I'm going to release is that food is punishment. Okay, so if you'd like me to release that, just please say yes. And this will be done on every level of your being. So everywhere you're using food as a punishment. And I'm going to include things like also drugs and alcohol as a form of kind of punishing yourself. So we sometimes use these things as a form of suppression because of blocked emotion. So let's free you from punishing yourself with food, drugs, alcohol. I just want you to use your breath. As this is released, just use your breath. Feel yourself letting go. Surrender. Let this go. Good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, there's some resistance for some of you because it is like your friend, like you're using, you may be using alcohol as your friend, a particular drug may be your friend. So some resistance on some of you. So I would probably recommend maybe a private session with a theta healer to go a little bit deeper as to what emotions you're suppressing. Okay, next one. Okay, can I release the belief that treats are sweets? So anywhere that you treat your, treat your kids or yourself using sweets, we're going to release that now. So all the places that you're using candy, cake, any sugary foods as your treat to reward yourself. Because sugar is not a reward. Sugar behaves like acid in the body. Good. Oh, that's better. Okay, next one. We're going to teach you what it feels like to love yourself and love your body. So even though you may feel that your body's not perfect right now, I'm going to teach you what it feels like to love your body, to nurture your body. Good. Okay, next. Okay, let's release the belief that you'll always be fat. So this could be a genetic belief, like because maybe your mother was fat and your father was fat and your grandmother was fat. That must mean you'll be fat. We're going to release anywhere that you believe that you'll always be fat. Good. Okay, good. And replace it with creator's truth that you are in control of your weight and your body shape. Okay, good, good. Okay, and can we free anywhere that you're using your weight as like your armor? So sometimes we will pat ourselves with fat as a way to protect ourselves. So for ladies, it tends to be around the belly. Around the belly is where a lot of them tend to carry the weight, and it's trying to protect your sexual chakra. So it's linked to emotions of a sexual shame. So feeling dirty, feeling contaminated, feeling used. It can be linked to the way you had sex in the past with men, where you felt used, violated, degraded. Okay, so that tends to be held in the belly around trying to protect yourself as a woman from being violated or hurt. So that's where women tend to carry a lot of weight. So bellies and bottoms as well, bottoms and hips, all held in kind of like the sacral chakra at the belly button. Okay, so I'm gonna, with that, because I'm just tuning into a few people here, I'm going to ask the creator just to release any shock, trauma from anywhere that you were abused or violated or degraded or made to feel that you were worthless as a woman. Okay, is that okay? And again, like, just say yes out loud. You don't have to post in the chat, because obviously we want to keep things confidential. So you just say yes out loud. The Creator will hear your yes, and you give me permission to make this change for you. Thank you. And as that happens, I just want you to close your eyes and just breathe and allow the energy to flow in through your crown chakra, all the way down your body into your belly. Let it flow in. Don't push, don't direct, just allow it to come in. And this beautiful golden swirl will rush over your belly area, and it'll be replaced with unconditional love. If you get emotional, that's fine. Tears are also healing. So allow those tears to be released if that's you. Show that it's now over and that you're safe. And so sometimes this could be a verbal abuse, where you're attacked as a woman verbally. Okay. Show that you no longer need to hold on to weight or fat as a way to protect yourself, and replace with Creator's truth that the Creator is your protection, and that you trust in the Creator to protect you always. Good, good. Okay. Okay, well done, well done. Nice deep breath. Good, good. Okay, let's release the belief that food makes you fat. Good, thank you. Let's release the belief that it's hard to lose weight. Again, this is like marketing propaganda. They tell you it's hard to lose fat, and we make our product, our pill, makes it easy for you to lose fat, or our special diet makes it easy for you to lose weight. So it's marketing propaganda. It's not the truth. The body knows how to release fat, and it's very simple. It's about calorie consumption. You want to release weight, you reduce your calories. It's not rocket science. Reducing the number of calories and exercising. It is not difficult to lose weight unless you've got some sort of metabolic disease or condition, okay? And in that case, go see a nutritionist and a naturopath. But in most cases, it's not hard to lose weight, okay? But you've been told by marketing and advertising that it's difficult to lose weight, or it's difficult to lose weight when you get older. It's all marketing bullshit, guys. So I'm going to release the belief that it's hard to lose weight, okay, because your body's so intelligent. It's a magnificent walking miracle, and it knows how to break down food, draw the nutrients that it needs to grow your muscles, your bones, renewal of your eyes, your skin. It's incredibly intelligent. And then what it doesn't need, it flushes it out of the system. So it's a magnificent being. So we're going to release this belief that it's hard to lose weight, and replace it with Creator's truth that it's easy to lose weight, and that it's safe for you to release the weight. Oh, everyone's like, sigh of relief. Thank God for that. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. And that your body knows how to absorb the nutrients from food in the highest and best way, that you deserve to be nurtured and nourished. You deserve to be loved. Good, thank you, thank you. That was awesome. Okay, next, anywhere that when you reduce your calories, or you're going on a diet, and the term diet is actually overused. Diet simply means a food lifestyle choice. That's what it means. Diet doesn't mean I eat less, or I choose to consume certain foods that cause me to lose weight. Diet is simply the food you eat on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so some people choose to have a pescatarian diet, so seafood with vegetables. Some people choose to be vegetarian diet. Okay, those diets don't represent needing to eat that food to lose weight. It's a simple food choice. Some choose people to be vegans or vegetarian diet. Okay, so but in most people's mindset, diet means, I'm depriving myself. And so again, let me give you an example. So a lot of people, the moment they know they're going to go on a diet, like literally the day before, they stuff themselves because of this fear of, I better eat all I can now because there won't be any tomorrow, next week, next month, because I'm going on a diet. So anyway, you've got this association between diet meaning deprivation, denying, okay? Because whenever we deprive of ourselves, it's like on an emotional level, it's like when we deprive of ourselves, and particularly food, there's this feeling of, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Because if you start to eliminate food, and doing that means deprivation actually is the path towards death. Okay, so we definitely want to clear this belief that a diet means deprivation and death and starvation, so that if you do go on a weight loss diet, that you don't go into like, I'm going to stuff my face like crazy the day before and treat myself with like rich fatty foods and things like that. So we're just going to do a clearing on that. Okay, so we're going to release release that a diet or diets is deprivation, or that reducing your food intake, your calorie intake is deprivation, or denying yourself. Is that okay? Thank you. Oh, there's a lot of emotional charge on this one. Okay, let's just bring through Craig's definition, understanding of what a diet actually means versus what you've been told it means. Good. Awesome. Okay, anywhere like a diet is a punishment, let's release that. Okay, so like quite a few of you are carrying genetic trauma of starvation and war. So I'm currently in the US, so they had a lot of civil war and things like that, and sometimes there was a shortage of food. So if you're kind of in the US, you may have rerunning some of those beliefs. Europe, certainly with World War I, World War II, Eastern Bloc countries where there was the rationing of meat and butter and so forth. So I'm going to ask the creator just to release this genetic trauma of war, teaching your subconscious that it's over and that you're safe. So anyway, your subconscious believes that food is running out or that you're going to starve to death. We're going to release all of that. Is that okay? Thank you. Okay, again, if there's any tears, just let them go. Good, that's much better. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so can we teach what it feels like, what it looks like to love and nurture your body in the highest and best way that you can? And that you have Craig's definition, understanding of intuitive eating. So intuitively, you know what is good and nourishing for your body. Okay, that you know the difference between what intuitively your body needs versus a craving. Okay, so if you're craving sweet things like chocolate, your body may be craving serotonin or endorphins, those good feeling hormones. And sometimes a craving for sweets is also feeding parasites as well. So we'll talk more about that in our next Facebook Live. Okay, good, good. Okay. All right. Okay, and can we release you and free you from anywhere that you're going into overwhelm, feeling like it's too hard, too difficult to get your body back into shape, or that's going to be too hard, or anywhere that exercise is punishment and suffering. Can we release that as well, please? Thank you. Okay, good. Awesome. That's much better, much better. Okay, guys, how do we feel? Let me know. I'd love to hear. How are you feeling? Lots of hearts. Thank you. A few tears. Okay, all right. Nice deep breath. And release. Yeah, it was quite intense, quite intense. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I'm going to give you some let's check our work. So I want you to stand up again, stand up, and you're going to muscle test yourself again to see what beliefs have changed for you. Okay, so stand up, feet hip width apart, just softening your knees slightly. Okay, and you're going to make this statement out loud. You have to type in the chat, you just say it out loud. Okay, so let's check. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Okay, all right. So let's check. I punish myself with food. Changed. Good, good. Okay, wonderful. Okay, treats are sweets. Yeah, you must never make sugar and cakes your treats. Very dangerous. I'm not saying you can't, have a donut, but don't turn those into treats. That's it, because you're essentially punishing your body. When you consume sugar, what it does, it makes your body acidic, and your body can't cope with that acid level. So what it does, it pulls minerals from the bones to alkalize your blood, because if it doesn't do that, your body will die. You will physically die because you've got too much acid in your bloodstream. It starts to compromise other systems of the body. So what the body will do is it will compromise one system to rescue another or save another. So it pulls minerals from your bones. And so for women, it can lead to things like osteoporosis and arthritis and lower bone density, okay, which can lead to things like hip fractures and things like that, which is incredibly dangerous. So don't make sweets treats. Okay, let's check. I love myself. I love myself. Okay, did you go forwards or backwards on that one? Okay, next one. I will always be fat. Okay, back to center. Food makes me fat. Okay, next one. It's hard to lose weight. Okay, next one. When I go on a diet, I deprive of myself, or diets are a deprivation. Okay, and I carry the trauma of war. That's a big one, that one. Yeah. Okay, and last one, I know how to nourish my body. Okay, and just one more, exercise is punishment. Okay, guys, right, grab a seat, grab a seat. Okay, let's see how we went. So I'd love to hear who experienced a belief that changed tonight. I'd love to hear, let me know in the chat. Who experienced a belief that changed? Things like food is a punishment, beliefs about loving yourself, that it's difficult to lose weight. I'd love to hear, post in the chat for me. Okay, so while I'm waiting for you guys to give me your feedback, I'm going to talk to you about some very, very simple self-care tips. Some of them you may have heard of, some you may have not. Okay, so the first very, very simple tip is drink more water. Okay, drink more water. Who's heard of that one? Drink more water. So we are approximately between 70 to 80% water. So babies will tend to be closer to the high 80s. As people tend to get older, I should say, the percentage drops down to about in the 70s. But most people are in the kind of 75% water. So we need water for our body to function properly, our organs to function properly. So most people are not drinking water. People confuse thirst for hunger. So instead of getting a drink of water, you're actually eating food because you're getting confused. So reach for the water first. So one of the first things that I do in the morning is I have a glass of water, a big, big glass of water. So you want to be having about 7 to 8 glasses of water a day, ideally, if possible, filtered. Okay, ideally possible, filtered water. Unfortunately, the watering bottles, plastic bottles, they have a chemical in the plastic called phthalates. And a lot of the bottles of water have been on the shelf for a year or two, and these chemicals called phthalates, they go via the plastic into the water. And so when you're drinking this water with the phthalates inside, it goes into your body and they turn into what's called xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens are like synthetic estrogen mimickers, and for women, high levels of estrogen has been linked to cancers, including ovarian cancer and breast cancer. So you don't be consuming all your water from plastic bottles. If you can get filtered, that would be the ideal, or in glass bottles. Okay. Next, what else have I got for you guys? Yes, so next is your kind of morning ritual. So I had my first private training session with a private fitness guy, and it was wonderful. Now, obviously, if you can get to a gym, if you can do a yoga class, there's like all these new apps that are coming out. They're like either free or cheap, so you can choose like a little short exercise. It could be 7 minutes, it could be 15 minutes, but some form of exercise in the morning would be great. So back in London, I've got my little Fitbit watch that I wear, and it counts my steps. And literally, like by the time I get to my evening, if I'm on like 8,900 steps, I'll literally run up and down the stairs in the house to get to my 10,000 so I can get the fireworks, right? So it's my little motivator. So it's really wonderful that if you can keep track of your exercise, so you can have a reminder on your phone that kind of reminds you to exercise every day. But I don't want you to feel like, oh, it has to be like an hour at the gym where I'm like burning and I'm coughing up blood and the muscles are aching. I don't want you to go to that extreme. Perhaps if you haven't exercised for a while, slowly and gently. I want you to ease into it, otherwise you're not going to enjoy it and you won't stick to it. So this is the most common challenge people have, is they in New Year's resolutions, they get to the gym, they join, and literally by week 1 they drop off and then they don't go back because they push too hard. So I want you to start gently and something that you enjoy. So it could be yoga, it could be like just dancing, so you can just put it on a really like a nice album on your phone, play some nice music and just have a good old dance. That actually is exercise. Okay, I've got students who do belly dancing, okay, pole dancing, you can do swimming. So I'd love to hear, guys, what would be a fun way for you to exercise that you could perhaps do very easy at home, or maybe get to a class during the day, maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. I'd love to hear what would be a fun way for you to exercise. So for me, I have a trampoline in my garden back in London, and my daughter and I, we jump on the trampoline, or there's a trampoline park that's just opened up the road. So we go to these trampoline parks, and like me, my husband, my son and my daughter, we are my husband and I are the only adults jumping on these trampolines, while the other parents are sitting in the cafe drinking their tea and coffee and eating muffins while their kids are jumping. But my husband, Josh, and I are the only adults jumping like lunatics. But I easily get to my like 15,000 steps by the end of the day because I'm like, I just go for it. My husband's doing flips. Like my husband's 40. He's 46, I'm 43, and it's because we exercise on a daily basis that I'm still fit, I'm still healthy. I'm proud to say I still can touch my toes. I can still touch my toes, so I'm still flexible because I have these practices. I do my yoga poses, and often with my daughter on a yoga mat in the garden. So I would like you to think of fun ways to incorporate exercise, and it literally can be 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and like there's no excuse. You know, download an app on your phone and do something that you can do like daily, and what will happen is that you'll start to feel like you have more energy. So when I was much younger and I was going to the gym, I think 4 days a week, and I was doing pump classes, I was doing aerobics, I had a lot of energy at the end of the day because I was exercising quite intensely. That doesn't really appeal to me. That's a bit full on for me now. So yoga, jumping on the trampoline, dancing like no one's watching, like that's what I enjoy more now. I can't do the doof music. It just, yeah. It doesn't go. I'd rather sing mantras. So that's something else. And then the last thing, you may have not heard of this one. It's called oil pulling. So it's actually a very simple process. It's an ancient process. It's been around for a good couple of thousand years, in fact. And oil pulling is essentially taking a tablespoon of coconut oil, okay, and you put it in your mouth. This is in the morning, before you've had any water, anything to eat. First thing in the morning, you take a tablespoon of coconut water, you put it in your mouth, and you swizzle it. At first, it is a bit gross. The texture's not fantastic. So you basically swizzle it in your mouth for 15 minutes. So I kind of do this kind of early in the morning before like kids get up, because obviously if they're talking to me, I can't answer. They make fun of me. So there's mummy swizzling in the morning. And then after 15 minutes, you spit that out into the bin. Don't spit into the sink because you'll clog up the sink. You spit it in the bin, and then you get some warm water with a bit of Himalayan salt, and you mix it, stir it, and then you put it in your mouth and you swizzle again, and that will take rid of the remaining coconut oil from your mouth and your teeth, and you spit that down the sink, and then you just brush your teeth as normal. So here's why you want to do oil pulling. So some of the benefits actually are quite amazing. So I was doing some research this morning. So oil pulling, let's have a look. Here we are, oil pulling. So some of the benefits are it can clear sinus problems, helps with bad breath or halitosis, great for whitening the teeth. And that's why I started to do it. I wanted to whiten my teeth because the chemicals that dentists use to whiten the teeth are actually quite toxic. So it's great for whitening the teeth. Strengthens the gums and the jaw, prevents cavities and gingivitis. Everyone's loving it. Good. And it's so simple. Prevents cavities and gingivitis, helps with detoxification. I'm going to talk more about that in tomorrow's Facebook Live. Helps with clearing skin and acne. So if you want beautiful, clear skin, it's going to pull toxins out of your body and create beautiful skin. Increases, so it helps with better sleep. And also hormonal imbalances. So the ladies are going to love that one. So what you can do for a little bit of flavor is add a bit of essential oil into the teaspoon. So you can use lemon or orange. Lemon's great because lemon also helps to detoxify the body. So one little drop of lemon onto your teaspoon, I should say tablespoon, with the coconut oil. Put in your mouth, swizzle for 15 minutes, walking around. I usually do like folding washing, tidying up the house. While I'm doing this, I'm doing something while I'm swizzling, just to keep my mind off what I have to do, and I just spit it in the bin. So that is oil pulling. So it's a very, very simple thing to do. So for you to build a new habit, okay, this is before we finish today. Building a new habit does require some discipline. So the easiest way to do that is to put it into your phone as a reminder. So I have these reminders on my phone, and I've got like an iPhone. So I just set up reminders on my phone with like what my morning ritual is, like, my oil pulling. Then I've got my 11:11 affirmation. I've got like a 1:1 affirmation, and then I've got my evening one to remind me to do my part of my evening ritual that was set up by my coach. So I've got these little reminders on my phone, and what happens is after a while you no longer need the reminder because it just maybe goes, I've got to do my morning ritual. I've got to do my oil pulling. So oil pulling is something you would do every morning. And at first it does take a little while to kind of get used to the texture. It's not the most pleasant. After a few days, you're going to be fine. It'll just become second nature, and you're going to feel amazing. So like with anything, consistency is key. It's not something that you do once. It's something that you do consistently. Okay, guys, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed today's Facebook Live. Okay, so a lot of people are giving me posts now. Thank you. So all changed. You want to say all changed? Okay, so a few of you, some of the beliefs didn't change, but quite a few of your beliefs changed. Amazing, fantastic. Agiba saying all changed. Fantastic, awesome. Okay. So if there were some beliefs that were still stuck, we're going to be kind of working on those a little bit more in further Facebook Lives. Otherwise, obviously, you can book a session with a Theta Healer or come to our classes. Okay. Yeah, Bawana, yes, oil pulling is done every day. You do it every day. Your teeth will start to whiten, fantastic skin, better sleep. It's very simple, very cost effective. So I hope you enjoy this. So I'm going to do another Facebook Live. Next Facebook Live will be tomorrow. So I had to work out my time zone. So it will be 5 p.m. British Summer Time, 5 p.m. British Summer Time. That will be tomorrow. So I'm going to post that into the Facebook page. I'm going to be kind of online today because it's only like 1 o'clock here in Phoenix. I'm going to be online. So if you've got any other questions, if there's other topics you'd like me to cover, then post it in the chat, and I'll aim to answer your questions and in further Facebook Live. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. You did awesome. And we'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. British Summer Time. I will be talking about detoxing, the right way to detox. I'll also be doing an energy clearing session on that. Fears around releasing toxins from your body. So we'll be talking about microbes, including parasites as well. So it's a very, very important topic to cover tomorrow. It'll be very, very enlightening. So obviously, certainly we'll see you tomorrow at 5, and be sure to share it with your friends. Thank you so much, everyone, and good night. Bye. Lots of kisses. Bye, guys. Bye.